Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to the Associated Guests. I am always your host, Alfie Animus, here on the Bear in Mind channel. Today's topics. Apparently the Democrats are lying about the Epstein files. Hopefully Crowder will bring facts to that. Not the story we skipped yesterday, but kind of an extension of that. Yesterday's story that we missed was IGN dislikes where winds meet because it isn't corporate AAA garbage. Today, apparently localizers have been forcing body type A and B instead of male and female into the game. Gotta love localizers. They've ruined a few anime. And then if we have time, Chicago schools blew millions on vacations and their kids still can't read. A little bit on why we should end the DOE. It's a quick story, so maybe, hopefully, possibly, probably not, we'll get time for it.
If this is the standard that we're going to make, just know we're going to expose it all. And just know that the FEC filings, they are available for everybody to review. This is absolutely ridiculous.
They are available.
Yes.
Fresh
And-
b****.
Yeah,
Lee
she
Zeldin
didn't review them.
responded, "Yes, Crockett, a physician named Dr. Jeffrey Epstein, who is a totally different person than the other Jeffrey Epstein, donated to a prior campaign
You mean
of
more
mine.
than one person can have the same name?
No freaking relation,
That's crazy.
you genius. Epstein. Let's get to Epstein.
Just a quick little project. Google your own name or type it into Facebook right now. I did this about 10 or so years ago. I found 15 just on Facebook. And that's just the ones that responded to my friend request.
Because everyone was talking about it, and there's a lot of flip-flopping going around. And again, I ask, can you apply the standard equally? I tried to hang myself with a force meter, recreating the entire cell of Jeffrey Epstein here. We did a whole special on it. You can go and watch it. I don't believe that he killed himself. I believe there was foul play. And of course, I believe that he was involved in sex trafficking. I disagree with Kash Patel. I understand that he has access to information that I do not. A lot of this doesn't pass a sniff test.
Yeah.
I think the files should be released. I've always thought the files should be released. I don't think that Donald Trump should be impeached because of this quagmire that has taken place. But here we are now, where the House, Senate, and President are all on the same page. House and Senate.
Hold on. Breaking from the Krasenstein, so take it with a grain of salt because these guys are retarded. Zoran Mondani is expected to require all New York elementary school students to learn Arabic numerals. I mean, it's always good to learn other languages. And if he's including other languages in this, awesome, cool. Everyone should be able to count to 10 in a few languages. Everyone should be able to have basic communication skills. In an ideal world, and I base this off of military education, if you grow up in a military school, well, a school on a military base, you start learning your base language of your country from the get. Then I think you start your second language in elementary school, and then a third language in junior high, and then you have the option for a fourth language in high school. Pretty sure that's how it was. It's been a while. But that's pretty telling. And the Krasensteins, they're not Jewish American. I mean, they're of Jewish descent, but they are not practicing Jews.
Both voted for the release of the Epstein files, which will be sent now to President Trump's desk.
Now it is on its way to the president's desk in a remarkable turnaround.
Just noticed this. Today's news, that little clip you saw a second ago, Republican Crockett accuses Republicans of Epstein donations, debunked by the very FEC records she herself sourced. You can't make this shit up. You should have to be able to pass some sort of standardized test to even run for Congress.
An extremely fast move here. The Senate has essentially green-lighted this bill to be approved as soon as tonight and be sent to the president's desk. Now, essentially what happened was that in the aftermath of this House vote this afternoon, 427 to 1, just one member of the entire United States House voting against it.
That's true. There was one nay vote in the House, which, of course, seems suspicious, and then made sense when you realize it's this guy. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Well,
Okay.
Those aren't his kids. Sense.
People on audio, go to video. So Representative Clay Higgins, he was the lone no vote in the House. Now, to present you his side of the story, he wrote and explained on X, I have been a principled no on this bill from the beginning. If enacted in its current form, this type of broad reveal of criminal investigative files released to a rabid media will absolutely result in innocent people being hurt. He went on to say, if we release the files on this child sex predator, then we'll have to do it for all of them.
Oh, good.
See, and I like this. I like when people rib on people in their own party. I don't like when people excommunicate them for disagreeing, but when it's something egregious as this, rib them a bit. Albeit not this particular one, but if there's anything that if I was in Congress and I knew it was going to pass with unanimous, I would have been the one, like the little old man from The Simpsons going, nay, who keeps saying that? Get him.
Like you can't redact a name. It's bizarre, and I don't know if this guy had someone in his ear saying, you can portray yourself as a principled conservative. Look, your legacy is going to be the one vote.
I love how you spelled it with an EL. As like, do you say it like bisexual?
Defending an underage sex trafficker. That's what you will be known for.
It could have been like he was the first guy to vote,
Yeah.
and he was like, all right,
All right.
no.
We'll all vote no, right?
And then everyone, what?
They just
Or
push
it's a prank?
Yeah.
Like in...
Everyone else is like, hey, what are you going to do? It's going to be a gag. A bunch of us are going to vote no. He's like, oh, that'll be funny.
Yeah. Loser, be you.
Like the one no vote for Jackie Robinson in the MLB Hall of Fame.
Yeah, there's always one person has to vote no for the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, it's like a tradition. Like, what? Why do I have to vote no? No, trust me, this is going to be fine. It's just tradition. It'll be good for you. He just gets the kicked out of him by a black guy. Walks out of the room.
I voted no on Babe Ruth. Now it's your turn to
Now
vote
it's
no.
your turn.
I mean, I would probably be known as the guy that always votes against the whole. Like, if I know, like I said, if I know that everyone's going to vote one way, I'm definitely going to vote the opposite, but not in the Epstein files. No, it's UAL. How do you not know your heritage?
You know, who is it? Jackie Robinson.
No, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to make fun. I thought you was being cute. But yeah, no, the way you did it's more like my buddy Manuel. So it looks like bisexual instead of bisexual. But it's, yeah, the same as that, but with a UAL.
Son of a...
And of course, the left. Donald.
It's like the difference between I challenge you to a duel and dual headlights.
Trump said that we should release the files. And then it was voted unanimously yes, of course, from the Senate and the House. And during the Biden administration, where the left really didn't, there was not a peep from them about Epstein, Republicans were pushing for it for a very long time. As a matter of fact, it's a big reason for the civil fracturing on the right, because you still have a lot of principled people on the right who believe that the files should be released, and it looked like they wouldn't. Somehow the left is spinning this as a victory for
there's no shame.
them.
Like I said, well, we'll just pretend like he was, trying to add some zest to it. Not that it needs zest, but just we'll act like that's what you were doing.
This is a dramatic legislative turnaround. And a huge loss for Trump. Make no mistake. Trump.
The only time Stephen Colbert's ever been funny was on The Daily Show and The Colbert Report, when he was ironically acting like a stereotypical Republican. Funny thing was, a lot of Republicans actually thought that he was a Republican and he was on their side. And that was the fun of the thing. Like, a lot of people liked it because they thought it was real, and a lot of people liked it because we knew it wasn't. And his book was just as ridiculous as Jon Stewart's book. What was it? I Am America and So Can You?
Has clearly just given up the fight.
Donald Trump tried to desperately stop this night from happening. He did everything he possibly could. None of it was enough. None of it worked. They tried everything they could to stop
awesome.
it.
The goal
Voting for it?
the bill passed by such a large margin that Trump can't put his little orange thumb on the
I've been
scale
watching
and give it
Steven
the
Universe.
old
I love Steven
Cheeto
Universe.
veto.
The Epstein files have finally broken Donald Trump's dictatorial grip on the House and on the Senate.
But when it became clear that the House was going to ignore Trump and vote to release the Epstein files anyway, Trump backtracked and said, "Oh, yeah, do that. That's also what I want."
Donald Trump spent
Way to have a stereotypical haircut, buddy.
much of the past week trying to strong-arm his party into voting against the release of the Epstein files.
What is that
Basically, every
picture?
Republican except for one rejected Trump's demands.
Looks
His
like he's
pressure and
throwing up in her
jockeying didn't
mouth
work
like
this
body
time.
snatchers.
And of course, Jasmine Crockett, not to be outdone by anyone else who refuses to do a modicum of research, called out all the people who took money from someone who may have also been named Jeffrey Epstein.
Yeah, because
Folks who also took money from somebody named Jeffrey Epstein, as I had my team dig in very quickly.
so quickly they didn't fact check and see if it was, the same Jeffrey Epstein as opposed to some like dentist or doctor or anything else. Like I said at the top of the show, I myself have searched my own name on my real name on Facebook way back in the day and came up with a lot of results and a lot of different kinds of people.
Romney, the NRCC,
All white though, honestly.
Lee
That was
Zeldin,
weird.
George Bush, Win Red, McCain Palin, Rick Lazio. I just want to be clear. If this is the standard that we're going to make, just know we're going to expose it all. And just know that the FEC filings, they are available for everybody to review. This is absolutely ridiculous.
They are available.
That's true. And as I showed earlier, when I was showing you something on X, it showed right there that Jasmine Crockett was making accusations, which were disproven by those very files. Someone on Kick says, "Hello, mate. How are you doing? I'm a partnership female streamer with over 264,000 followers using this account for outreach to make false rumors." All right, that's a little different than most of the ones I get, but I'm sorry. I as much as I would love that, I mean, I've never heard of you, and I appreciate the engagement, but no thanks.
Lee Zeldin responded, "Yes, Crockett, a physician named Dr. Jeffrey Epstein, who is a totally different person than the other Jeffrey Epstein,
I love the
donated
hand
to a
claps here.
prior campaign
No
of
freaking
mine."
relation,
No
you
freaking
genius.
relation, you genius. Think about that. I have my team dig really fast because they're experts at working fast. They're quick. They're quick as a field mouse.
They dug real fast, a bunch of diggers.
Oh my God.
Wait, whoa.
They digging up all the dirt.
Not what I meant.
You didn't just fact check it at all? And that shows you, again, these people have no fear of accountability. Well, the leftist media...
And again, that's one of the reasons, even though I'm not a conservative, that's one of the reasons I have a lot of respect for Steven Crowder, is because I know that everything that he puts on here is fact-checked. When I first started watching him, I was just strongly wanted to disprove everything he said. I couldn't do it. And then, like, I still fact-check some things. I'm just like, come on, that one can't be true. And it always is. It always is. And he mostly uses leftist sources. Or at the very least, liberal-based sources.
She listed like 6 people from like 20-something years ago. Like,
and one of them wasn't even close. Here's the irony. Stacey Plaskett, who's sitting next to her in that video, she took campaign donations directly from the actual Epstein in 2016.
Which wasn't on the list.
And she was also caught texting Epstein for direction advice during the...
And that's super funny. She wants to find someone, and she looked at these things, and literally all she had to do is just look slightly to the left. Just right over here. Amethyst wasn't my bisexual awakening at first, but she did become one of my awakenings now, because after years of thinking I wasn't fully straight, her tomboy nature. No, and I'm definitely into that too. Like, I've always been more into tomboys than anything else. Starting from my very first crush a long time ago. I won't say her name now. But yeah. And of course, she turned out to be a lesbian, so...
The 2019 Michael Cohen hearing. So that person right there has more of a connection than someone who had a doctor named Jeffrey.
Hold on, real quick. This is my favorite. That still makes me laugh. It's so rude, and the president shouldn't say stuff like that.
I would imagine that is amongst the most common doctor names. Jeffrey Epstein, maybe Jeffrey Goldberg.
Yeah, but it's spelled G-E-O.
Well, I don't know.
Yeah,
Jeffrey.
Yeah, like the
giraffe.
Like the butler in Fresh of Bel-Air.
My name is Yev.
Josh, what are you doing?
Securing my financial future, Gerald. What does it look like?
If you want to be mad at someone, obviously Clay Higgins. That's funny. Absolutely.
I don't care
you
about
should
their
keep
ads.
the
I'm
jokes
sorry.
incoming. But you have a unanimous vote, aside from one in the House, and Senate, and President Trump. Seldom do you ever get this level of agreement. So it's always funny to me because the left calls for civility and agreement after they've punched you in the face.
Yeah.
They don't celebrate an area where there's actual common ground. That left, right, Democrat, Republican, we all don't like pedophiles. We all don't like...
Yeah, they're calling this a Trump loss, even though Trump has already said that he'll sign it if it passes the House and Senate. I'm pretty sure that wasn't a bluff. And I don't know if they'll mention this later, but I don't think Trump is actually in the files. I'm sure he knows someone who's in the files. I'm sure Pam Bondi is probably mentioned in there because, well, she was involved in some of the litigation in the day.
Like child sex traffickers, right? Hey, that's a good thing. Instead, they have to spin it. And if anything, if you find this to be a disappointment when and if the files are released, I would like you to direct your ire toward Pam Bondi. Yeah. Pam Bondi is the common denominator here that has been a problem. Remember, this is going to allow, by the way, Pam Bondi to withhold or redact information that could jeopardize any active investigations or name victims. And the problem is redactions have been used for far more than that in the past. So there needs to be some level of transparency here. And the reason that this is different from a lot of other cases is Americans watch this take place in real time, and it perfectly crystallizes elites getting off with horrendous crimes that the average American would never be able to imagine. Keep in mind, this is a woman, Pam Bondi. She had a lot of time to address, to take on cases from...
Let's be honest, the whole failure of the release of the Epstein files has rested solely on Pam Bondi's shoulders. And the only reason Trump's at fault for any of it is because he's the one that put her in there, and he refuses to fire her. The one person he refuses to fire for fucking up as much as she has. 100%. I don't know what hold she has on him. I don't know what dirt she has on him. I don't know if, like, she saved Barron from something. I don't know. That's just a whole... But he refuses to hold her accountable for anything. Yeah, I think I denied it mainly because most women are feminine, and I don't find femininity attractive. I only like... Right on. I mean, I can respect that.
Epstein victims during her time as AG in Florida. Right? There were a lot of... I know that he was convicted, got that sweetheart deal. I believe it was 2008. Maybe it was 2006. But then there were a lot of people contesting it, people bringing forward briefings, people bringing forward cases in Florida, and Bondi did absolutely nothing. And of course, she was the one who completely botched the rollout of the files in February, one of the biggest embarrassments at any point in either of Trump's administration.
It really was.
The DOJ may be releasing the list of Jeffrey Epstein's clients? Will that really happen?
It's sitting on my desk right now to review. That's been a directive.
When it's something this big, if it's something small that no one really cares about, whatever, do your little bluff. But when it's something this huge that everyone wants, that your director and assistant, vice director, assistant director, whatever it's called, director of the FBI, have been pushing since before they were even nominated or put there by Trump. This is not the kind of bullshit that you want to sling.
By President Trump, I'm reviewing that.
You said last week that you have the Epstein files on your desk. When can we see them, and what's taking so long to release them?
I do. Tomorrow, Jesse, breaking news right now. You're
Tomorrow.
going to see some Epstein information being released.
Tomorrow.
By my office.
Yeah.
Wow.
Remember, it was just influencers who can be, most of whom can be bought very easily with binders, and there was nothing new in there. Matter of fact, there was less information in there than
stuff was
public.
redacted that had been publicly released already.
But keep in mind, President Trump ordered her. She said that was an order for me to release it. Then she made a judgment call. If this is disappointing, if what comes to fruition, remember, the final judgment call as to what will be included or redacted rests.
Androsexual. See, the video game nerd in me, especially since you're a Star Fox fan, would tell me that you're attracted to powerful apes who may be floating heads with hands with little flashy things on them. But that was my second guess, attraction to masculine people.
With Pam Bondi. If I'm going to criticize President Trump, it is his loyalty or any fondness that he has for Pam Bondi.
Yeah.
She's an embarrassment. She's been harming this administration. She has been from day one. When people think about the swamp, about corrupt politicians, there's a picture of Pam Bondi next to the definition in their mind.
Yeah, exactly. How many months does it take to redact files? And by the way, if you're redacting people's names that have actually come out and publicly spoken on this, on the steps of the Capitol,
right?
They're right over there. Just go ask them, hey, guys, are you good with me leaving your name in here so that people understand the story? Because you've held up pictures of yourself at that age,
right?
And you've discussed these stories already publicly. This is just, this is the biggest misstep, in my opinion, of this administration so far.
Yeah,
100%.
Period.
Yeah, absolutely. And keep in mind that redactions themselves can be used as a political scalpel. I mean, you saw it with, was it the New York Times or Washington Post who withheld the name of Virginia Goff when she was very public about what happened with Epstein and that Trump had no involvement. So they, is it pronounced Guffrey?
I think.
Guffrey. Obviously she's not with us
I think you'll
anymore.
find I do that a lot.
Rest in peace.
Make people
Why
laugh.
was that redacted?
Sometimes
she
on
was public.
purpose.
As a matter of fact, she wanted to be as public as possible. She came out and campaigned for Donald Trump.
That's why it was redacted.
Exactly.
They didn't want to see, who's the victim's name? Oh, somebody who actually endorsed Trump. Oh, okay.
And I will say I expect some of that to take place if Pam Bondi has the final judgment call. I would imagine that there's some information in there. Again, I cannot prove this. I would just guess that it's unflattering toward Pam Bondi.
Yeah.
That would be a guess of mine. If you look at the center of all of this controversy, it seems that when it gets to Pam Bondi, that's the choke point. So keep that in mind. By the way, the betting odds currently on Kalshi are actually
that's exactly what I think about when I
that
hear
President
the
Trump
name
that
Pam
these
Bondi
files get released before 2026, 68% chance, and before September 2026, an 88% chance, which tells me, you know what would be hilarious, and this may not happen, but it would be hilarious if they released these just in time for midterms and it was awful for Democrats. If all of this was a play. You think that might be what's afoot, and what do you expect in these Epstein files? Don't ever let anyone tell you, I will say this, don't ever let anyone tell you that, oh, you know what, no, you should just move on. That's been a misstep, absolutely.
Yeah.
You deserve to know, and I think that most Americans want to know, and we deserve to know the truth. We watched this take place in real time. It was the most clear example of corruption, or one of, that we have seen in our lifetime, and everyone wonders, how did this get through, and how is this guy still protected?
Yeah, and the drain the swamp mentality that Donald Trump has had since his first time running for president, saying, I'm going to drain the swamp. This is the swamp in most people's eyes, because they know that there are a lot of powerful, very well-connected individuals that are associated with this, that could be implicated and hurt by this. And the only reason for not releasing it is to make sure that you protect them. And it's like, well, if you're just the same as everybody else, this is the contention, then what are we doing? Why are we voting for you in the first place?
Right.
We need something different. So get this right. This is very important to get right.
Oh, you're still here.
And I completely agree. It is very, very important to get this right. And hopefully, I haven't heard anything since yesterday when they after they had the vote and released the files. But you can almost guarantee the second that they do, and I hear about it, I will be on here. Well, the next morning I will be on here and be talking about the Epstein files. Or I might do a special show when I get off work. Who knows? But especially if it's this weekend. I'm definitely going to do one this weekend. But let's continue.
There are so many amazing games out.
So Where the Wind Meets is actually free on Steam. At least it was this past weekend. It's a 92 gigabyte game, and yesterday's missed story was IGN dislikes this game very much because it's not corporate AAA slop like they love slinging. But so today's story on it is this.
Out there that are altered by localizers who just want to push politics into every project they touch. And now Where Winds Meet has body types 1 and 2 instead of male and female. I have a few different things to show off, but before I get into the topic, if you enjoy the content I create, check out the links in the description, join the community in my live streams, and consider supporting through Patreon or YouTube memberships. Now, I had been really excited for this game, and I actually have been streaming it on the channel. I've been giving giving it a chance since it is a free-to-play title, and it is very fun. Sure, it's not the most polished experience ever, but it's still got a lot to offer. The combat is quick, the bosses are cool, there's tons of different activities to do, and really, it is a good game, but I know the first major hurdle that a lot of people are going to face when they're making their character is the fact that male and female was changed to body
Hey, thanks
type
for the follow,
1 and 2. I
Nikki.
saw this. I, of course, was extremely disappointed in it, but some of my favorite games have this, like Elden Ring, for example. It's a phenomenal experience. The type 1 and 2 or A and B situation doesn't affect me playing a game if I'm excited in it, but it is still something that needs to be called out because it's pretty
No, and anyone who wants to throw me offers, please direct them to my X account. Follow me there. Link me to something, or I'll probably end up following you back if I recognize you from here, and you can shoot me a DM there. That's just the way I got to do it, just to verify that people may or may not be real.
dumb that it happened. And to top all that off, it was done by a vocalizer, somebody who constantly wants to push their own politics.
A vocalizer?
Into a game,
That's
and they
a nice
have
term.
no respect for the original material. And the Chinese version of the game does have male and female. The localized version does not anymore, and tons of people are calling it out, which I'm happy to see. Scratchpoint said the English localization of Where Winds Meet is the only version that changes male and female to type 1 and 2, displaying another example of localization unnecessarily changing something innocuous to align with the modern denial of reality in the West. I don't really know why these localizers are so hyper-focused on changing male and female when they're just going to be called out for it and people are going to wreck them for it. Like, eventually you have to admit it's not worth the public humiliation.
And sometimes I'm like, this is just for, you know, the whole no news is bad news, no press is bad press thought process, bring attention to the game. But this is a free-to-play, a massive free-to-play game. Yes, there are a lot of microtransactions, but you don't have to do them. You can burn like we used to in games. But for them to do this on a free-to-play game that's already getting massive attention, especially for the way that they're utilizing microtransactions, from what I hear, I haven't played this one yet because it's 92 gigs, and that's a lot of space, even on my computer. But I don't know. This seems like they're doing it so this game can fail. They're purposefully sabotaging this game, even though it's free to play. Because I can almost guarantee you, nobody's going to do the microtransactions if this is what you're offering.
I would at least think, but I guess because they're so obsessed with their own personal brand of political activism, they just don't really care if they face backlash for it, and they probably should.
And I don't know why you're doing this for a very small percentage of the entire community. Why do the terms male and female offend people so much when it's the majority of people who believe in it? I'll never understand that.
Given companies don't want to work with
No, exactly. And that's one reason, like Cyberpunk, you can make yourself literally anything. With that ability, you can make yourself anything you want. You can have a proto male-female, or just do like that to where you can just choose body parts and you can be whatever amalgamation you want. Who gives a shit?
controversial figures that much anymore. That's why so many
But the fact that they're clearly male and female body types, and they're just saying body type 1 and 2 because they don't want to offend the 0.001% of the population in the West that will be horribly offended by this. It's very telling.
activists are being fired from this industry. Now, this is not confirmed officially, take it with a grain of salt, but we apparently know who the localizer is, and they are a localizer who worked on Honkai Star Rail, and they are extremely woke. I had never heard of them before, but their name is Brielle Acherhoff. They actually are tied to Rocket Sound, and they do original and...
I so very much hate that Karens have infiltrated the gay community. I've seen this coming for 10 or 15 years. I was hanging out with a bunch of my friends because a bunch of my friends from high school came out because I'm attracted to tomboys. And then my best friend, he turned out to be gay in high school and all that. But we were driving home, and I was driving them home, and I had no idea where I was going. Get to a 4-way stop, and I'm like, which way do we go, left, right, or straight? They're like, no, left, right, or forward. Okay, we don't say straight in this car. And I was like, first of all, it's my car, and I'll say whatever the fuck I want. I was like, left, right, straight, or get the fuck out. How about that? And they're like, okay, it's forward. And I was like, okay, you can say forward, I will say straight. Because you're not going to tell me what to say. I'm not saying anything offensive just because you're offended by words that people naturally use, and it's not meant to offend you. It's just part of human speech. And the fact that the word straight just happens to be used for people who aren't gay. And I'm pretty sure it came from, like, hey man, you want some dick? Nah, cool man, I'm straight. Like, like I'm good. I'm okay. No thanks.
Localized dialogue, but this company, Rocket Sound, of course, promotes pride events, and this individual, Brielle, posts on their social media about rainbow flags and people with blue hair, as you can see on this profile. I mean, it's pretty intense. So Rocket Sound is now another company to add to the list to always pay attention to. I had never heard of them before. They slipped through the cracks, but luckily gamers are willing to call these people out and research until we actually get confirmation of who is messing up our products. Pirate Nation had posted about how you don't hate Western localizers enough, and then it shows the male and female versus body type 1 and 2, and it's just so sad that good games face controversy because of a few shit libs. These people cannot accept the fact that this is not a popular stance, that this is not a way.
I also love how they use the male version for the westernized version, and then the female, instead of having the same option clicked on so you can see the actual difference, instead a few people will just look at the picture and be like, oh, these are the same. Anyway.
To gain notoriety in the industry, and really all they're doing is severely damaging their image and their reputation by doing this. We've heard so many instances of localizers constantly pushing the limits. They make changes because they believe that it's for the better, and then they say, well, we don't want to make people uncomfortable when a game comes to our region, so we're going to change it because this won't hurt people's feelings. But then a product is sanitized to hell and back, and it really makes you wonder what else is altered in the game. There is a bit of censorship in the chat.
And that's the thing that kills me. I hate that Karens have infiltrated these communities, and I hate that they've hijacked. Because I used to be, because a lot of the tomboys used to get the spiky hair or the badass chick from the movies cut with the little blue or purple or red or several of these colors or whatever. It's some of the stuff I was into, and now it's the marker of the awful. That and septum piercings. Now, not all people with septum piercings, but good rule of thumb, which is a horrible thing to say given where that comes from, but the people with the septum piercing, you're about to hear some ridiculous shit.
Because, again, this is made by a Chinese company. You can't say things like Tibet or Taiwan or Hong Kong or Winnie the Pooh. You can't say idiot. You can't say retard. You can't say most.
First of all, I say all those things. I will say idiot and retard until I'm canceled for it, until they take my account from me. We're in a good direction with that right now, but if this had been 5 years ago.
Of the normal swears. And that does suck. I think that is very important to point out. But the gameplay itself is so good. The world is so rich. The bosses and their mechanics are really cool. And it has a lot going for it. And because it's free to play, I think a lot of people are willing to look past some of the issues that it has. But it is still important to know the type of company you are ultimately supporting. If you swipe your credit card, or you think you want to invest a lot of time into this. And I'm glad gamers are furious at this. Savvy Avi said, I'm going to crash out. Yeah, there's no reason to change from male and female to body type 1 and 2. It is ridiculous. Body type A, body type B, mental illness diagnosis, Western fat, feminist developers. Not a tear will be shed when Western localizers lose their jobs to AI. And I think that this is the major example that I am okay with for people losing their
Anytime you see me doing this, it's always me trying to see the rest of what's at the bottom of the person I'm watching screen. Yes, sometimes I too am a retard.
Jobs. I generally say AI is a fine tool. I don't think that it should replace human beings, but when it comes to localizers, I don't think anybody's really going to shed a tear. Now, the issue you face with localizers versus AI is that AI can, of course, follow a prompt that says, hey, take this general story or this general dialogue and add diversity to it, or how can I improve diversity, equity, and inclusion in this story and alter the dialogue that way, or whatever prompt you want to enter. And so it can be just as woke, if not more woke, than these people. What we're gonna see in the coming months, and I would put money on this, what we're gonna see is we're going to see one of these localizers or developers or feminists become a mega shitlord by not only their politics, but also them using AI to enhance their politics and then putting this absolute pile of slop into a game. We are going to see the wokest game possible, and it's going to be attributed to AI. I would bet on...
We already saw that. It was called Dustborn. Which, by the way, as soon as that goes on sale, I'm probably going to get it, and I'm probably going to cringe my way through it. Probably for a New Year's stream, if I'm being completely honest. I'm going to play that, and then I'm going to play, what's that other game? Relooted, which is the most horrible black stereotype game that I've seen. It's literally just the beginning of the Black Panther movie where Killmonger is just going around stealing a bunch of stuff from museums and shit. The live action Moana. Yeah, it's getting a lot of backlash. Oh, good. He scrolled up. Chuckles. I'm a gamer. Well, on that note there.
On that. Now the question is, which localizer team did this? Did NetEase outsource?
All right. Well, unfortunately, we didn't get to Chicago schools blowing millions on vacations. I got to get going. I'm going to try my very damnedest to start getting on a few minutes earlier so I can at least get through the second story and possibly add a third. But this is probably going to be the setup for a little bit where we do 2 quick stories in the morning or 1 really big story in the morning. And I might squeeze in the third one while also scrolling through all the bullshit on X. Critical Drinker once again demonstrating her superb acting range. She literally has one face. It's a pretty face, but yeah. Should also video to Ralph saying... Right back at you. Hey, guys, I appreciate all y'all for coming by. Had a pretty decent turnout. I think that's 1 person per platform. Or I think there might be a few on Kick. But I very much appreciate everyone who comes by here. Make sure you drop a like. That helps me with everything. As always, very happy to have Scary Mass Shapeshifter in my comments, blowing me up, making my engagement rates higher. It's very, very much appreciated. You are my biggest fan, and I very much appreciate you being here. But yeah, thank you all very much for coming here. I'm working on a sign off. I might workshop a couple of things, but I'm working on having a sign off by December. So we'll see about that. But in the meantime, get on out there and have a great day, and we will see you in the morning for our next episode of